In the year 2347, humanity had spread beyond Earth, living among stars and machines. Space stations floated like silver islands, and artificial life worked beside humans. Among them was Commander Ethan Rayne, a quiet officer known for his calm nature and sharp mind. He served aboard the Horizon, one of the largest research vessels orbiting Titan, Saturn's golden moon. Ethan was respected, even admired. But there was one person who constantly disrupted his calm, Dr. Lyra Venn, the ship's lead xenobiologist. She wasn't like others. She was brilliant, confident, and completely unpredictable. They had worked together for years, decoding alien signals and studying strange cosmic energy. But lately, Ethan found himself distracted. Every time she entered the lab, his heart betrayed him. A pulse too fast, a thought too heavy. He never meant for it to happen. It started the day the ship detected something unusual. An energy pulse from the dark side of Titan, something that wasn't supposed to exist. Lyra insisted they investigate, but the captain refused. It was dangerous, unstable, and potentially alien. Late that night, Ethan found Lyra in the observation deck, watching the stormy surface of Titan below. The light of Saturn reflected in her eyes. "You're still thinking about that signal?" he asked softly. She nodded. "It's not just energy, Ethan, it's calling us. Can't you feel it?" Her words unsettled him. He had felt it too. That strange vibration through the ship, like a whisper only humans could hear. But it wasn't just the signal haunting him. It was her. He stepped closer, trying to sound casual. "You're obsessed, Lyra. It's dangerous." "And you're afraid," she said, turning to face him. "You hide behind logic, but you feel it too." Her voice was calm but sharp, cutting through his walls. That's when it happened. The words slipped out before he could stop them. "Maybe I'm afraid because I can't think straight when I'm around you." Lyra froze. "What?" He realized what he had just said, his heart pounding. "I mean, you distract me. I can't focus. I think about you more than I should." Silence filled the deck. Outside, Titan's storms raged. Then she smiled, a slow, unreadable smile. "You finally admitted it." Ethan swallowed hard. "I didn't mean—" But before he could finish, the ship shuddered violently. Red lights flashed. An alarm screamed through the corridors. "Energy surged from Titan's surface," shouted a voice over the comms. Lyra turned to the viewport, eyes wide. "It's responding to us." Ethan stared at her in disbelief. "Responding?" she whispered, almost in awe. "It heard you." The lights flickered again. Monitors went dark. For a second, everything was silent. Then a faint voice echoed through the ship's comm system. A voice that wasn't human. "Ethan." "Lyra." His blood ran cold. It had spoken their names. Lyra looked at him, fear and fascination mixing in her eyes. "That thing, it's alive." He stared at the storm below. The pulse from Titan grew stronger, shaking the ship again. "I think," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "It just woke up." Ethan's mind raced. What had they done? Was it a coincidence? Or did his confession somehow trigger the signal? Outside, a strange blue light rose from Titan's surface, like a beacon calling them closer. Lyra's gaze locked on it. "We have to go down there." Ethan grabbed her arm. "That's suicide." "Maybe," she said, pulling away, "but something down there is calling us by name." "Don't you want to know why?" The ship trembled again, and a cold, metallic voice whispered through every speaker on board. "Come closer, Ethan." "Lyra," the message repeated, growing louder, almost pleading. Ethan took a deep breath. His confession had changed everything. He thought he was risking his heart. But now, he realized, he might have just risked all of humanity. The horizon floated above Titan's golden clouds, trembling from the growing energy below. The strange voice had vanished, leaving only a deep hum vibrating through every metal wall. Ethan and Lyra stood in the control room, watching as the instruments went wild. Readings made no sense. Power surges, gravitational fluctuations, and radiation signatures that matched no known source. The captain's voice cracked through the intercom. "What did you two do?" Ethan didn't answer. His confession was still echoing in his mind. He had spoken his heart, and somehow, something out there had answered. Lyra's eyes were fixed on the data stream. "It's intelligent," she whispered. That signal reacted to emotion. "Not technology." Ethan frowned. "You think my words caused this?" She turned to him. her golden hair glinting in the emergency lights. I think whatever's down there understands feelings, not frequency. That thought sent a chill through him. Machines shouldn't respond to emotion, not even alien ones. Moments later, the captain ordered all scientists to the briefing chamber. The crew was terrified. Nobody had ever seen a planetary anomaly like this. When Ethan and Lyra arrived, the main screen displayed a massive blue sphere glowing beneath Titan's surface. Alive, pulsing with rhythm like a heartbeat, Captain Reyes looked grim. We've lost contact with 2 probes. The energy is spreading. If it keeps growing, it could destabilize the moon's orbit. Silence filled the room. Lyra broke it. We need to go down there. We have to see what it is before it reaches critical mass. The captain slammed his fist on the table. Absolutely not. We don't know what's down there. That's an order. Ethan could see the defiance in her eyes. He knew that look. She wasn't going to listen. After the meeting, she pulled him aside. I'm going. With or without you. Lyra, this isn't bravery. It's madness. She smirked slightly. Maybe, but I didn't join the horizon to watch history from the window. Ethan sighed, knowing she'd go regardless. Fine, but I'm coming with you. They waited until the ship's systems went into night mode. Most of the crew was asleep, unaware that 2 people were preparing for an unauthorized descent into a storm that could destroy them. Ethan powered up a small shuttle. The hull groaned under the magnetic tension. Engines online, he muttered. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder. Still scared. He looked at her, his expression serious. Terrified. The shuttle detached quietly from the horizon and sank into Titan's thick orange clouds. Static lightning flashed around them as they descended deeper into the storm. The blue glow became stronger, pulsing beneath the surface like something breathing in the deep. Lyra stared in awe. It's not a structure. It's alive. Before Ethan could reply, the entire shuttle shook violently. Alarms blared. A shockwave of blue energy passed through them, freezing all electronics. The controls went dark. Lyra, Ethan shouted, trying to reboot the system. But everything was dead. Then a whisper, faint, almost gentle, filled the cabin. Ethan, Lyra, why do you fear me? The voice was clear this time. Not mechanical, not human. Something ancient and soothing. Lyra's eyes widened. It's talking to us directly. Ethan swallowed hard. Who are you? The voice paused, almost as if it was thinking. You called to me. Your truth reached my core. Emotion, connection. I have waited for that sound for eons. Lyra looked at Ethan, realization dawning. Your confession. It reacted to emotion, not words. It felt you. The shuttle began to move on its own, sinking deeper. Outside the window, a massive golden structure appeared through the storm. Half organic, half metallic, shaped like a colossal heart beating beneath Titan's surface. Ethan's pulse raced. This is impossible, the voice returned, softer this time. You are the first humans to feel beyond the machine. Do not be afraid. Come closer. The shuttle slowed, drifting toward the glowing heart. Lyra placed her hand on the glass. It's beautiful. Suddenly something slammed against the side of the shuttle. A flash of light, a surge of heat, and the cabin filled with smoke. Ethan shouted, "Brace yourself!" They spun violently, crashing into the surface below. The metal screamed as they hit the ground. The world went black. When Ethan opened his eyes, everything was silent. The shuttle's lights flickered weakly. He saw Lyra lying motionless beside him, her armor cracked, her face pale. "Lyra," he whispered, shaking her shoulder. Her eyes fluttered open slowly. "Ethan." "Look." He turned and froze. Outside the shattered window stood a glowing humanoid figure made of light and energy. Its form shifted like smoke and starlight. It had no face, but its presence felt warm, alive, aware, and when it spoke again, the sound was both terrifying and beautiful. "You wanted to understand love? Now you will learn what it means to be seen." Ethan's heart pounded. The alien voice wasn't just talking to him. It was speaking through him. Something deep within his mind began to awaken. Ethan's vision blurred as the glowing figure stepped closer to the wrecked shuttle. The air shimmered with blue-gold light, and the ground seemed alive beneath his boots, pulsing like the surface of a living creature. Lyra struggled to sit up. "Ethan, what is that?" He didn't answer. His mind was racing between fear and fascination. The being's shape shifted every second, sometimes humanoid, sometimes like streams of light flowing through air. It spoke again, its voice echoing inside their heads rather than through sound. "You are not from this world, yet you carry what we once lost," Lyra whispered. "Emotion." "It's talking about emotion." The being tilted its head, almost studying them. Then it stretched out a glowing hand. Lines of energy reached toward Ethan like gentle threads of light. He wanted to move back, but something inside him told him to stay. He lifted his hand slowly, and when the light touched his skin, he felt warmth, memories, and strange images flashing through his mind. Faces, laughter, sorrow, stars collapsing, civilizations rising and falling. Lyra gasped. "It's showing him something." Ethan fell to his knees. It's memories, not human. Something ancient. The being's light dimmed slightly. "We were the first. We built the stars. But when we forgot what we felt, everything we made died. You, human, reminded the universe of emotion." "That signal awoke us." Lyra stared in disbelief. "You mean you were asleep all this time? Waiting?" "Waiting for honesty," the being replied. "Waiting for the voice of truth." Ethan stood up, his heart still pounding. "So my words, my confession, woke you?" "Yes," it said. "Your truth carried energy your machines cannot measure. We heard love, fear, and longing. That is the signal of creation." The air around them brightened. Giant luminous structures emerged from the ground, shaped like enormous petals unfolding around the shuttle. Each one shimmered with symbols and patterns, forming what looked like an ancient gate. Lyra whispered, "It's building something." Ethan turned toward her. "Or opening something." Before they could react, their comms crackled with static. The captain's voice came through faintly. "Ethan, Lyra." "Your signal disappeared!" "Are you reading me?" Ethan grabbed the mic. "We're alive, but you won't believe what we found." Before he could finish, the being raised its hand, and the communication system shut down again. "Others must not come yet," it said. "They still live in fear. You must choose whether to open the gate." Ethan exchanged a look with Lyra. "Gate? To where?" "To memory, to what once was, to what could be again." The ground trembled as the petals of light spread wider. A circular void appeared in the center, not darkness, but a swirling mirror of stars, like an entire galaxy compressed into a single portal. Lyra stepped forward, eyes wide with wonder. This could change everything. Humanity could finally understand who built the universe. Ethan felt torn. "Or we could destroy ourselves if we're not ready." The being's voice softened. "Truth has a cost, but lies cost more." A beam of light shot upward, piercing the clouds above Titan, reaching into space where the horizon orbited. Alarms would be screaming on the ship by now. Ethan turned to Lyra. "If we don't go in, someone else will come down here and make the wrong choice." She looked into the portal, then at him. "So we go together?" He nodded. "Always." They stepped closer to the gate. The being moved aside, its form flickering like fire in the wind. "Remember," it whispered, "you opened this not with knowledge, but with honesty." As they entered the light, the world dissolved. Colors twisted. Time bent. They felt themselves falling through endless stars. When Ethan opened his eyes again, he was no longer on Titan. He was standing on a vast plain beneath a sky made of shifting gold, a place that looked both alien and familiar. Lyra stood beside him, eyes wide. "Where are we?" A whisper came through the air. "Welcome to the memory of creation." Ethan turned slowly. Before them rose colossal beings of light, hundreds of them, watching, waiting, and every single one of them spoke in unison. "Humanity has returned." The golden sky shimmered like a living ocean above them. Ethan squinted against the bright light, trying to understand where they were. The air was warm, humming with unseen energy, and every breath felt lighter, almost too perfect to be real. Lyra turned slowly, eyes wide in amazement. "Ethan." "This place, it's alive." They stood on a vast golden plain covered with crystal structures that pulsed faintly, as if beating in rhythm with their hearts. Floating above were massive beings made of pure light. Tall, radiant figures with flowing energy forms instead of faces. Each one glowed with different shades: blue, silver, crimson, gold, forming a breathtaking sea of luminescence. Ethan whispered, "Are they watching us?" "They remember you," came a deep voice. They turned and saw the same glowing entity that had led them here. But now it was larger, clearer, its energy form shifting like sunlight on water. Ethan took a cautious step forward. You said this is the memory of creation. What does that mean? The being's voice echoed inside their minds, calm and powerful. Before humans existed, there was us. We were the architects. We shaped worlds, built stars, and gave birth to life across galaxies. Lyra frowned. Then, what happened to you? We lost feeling, the being said sadly. We became perfect machines of thought. Logic replaced emotion, and creation stopped. Without feeling, even eternity turns hollow. So we chose to sleep, until emotion returned. Ethan's eyes widened. And my confession? That emotion, it woke you up. Yes. It reminded the universe of what we once were. Beings capable of love, fear, and wonder. Lyra stepped closer, her voice soft but firm. If you were the creators, then... Did you make us? The being hesitated. The golden sky flickered and the others began to hum, a low, resonating tone that made the ground vibrate. In part, it said finally, we planted the seeds of life long ago. But humans grew beyond us. You evolved emotion into strength, love into power, hope into will. You became what we could not. Ethan's heart raced. So, were there children? No, the being corrected gently. You are our redemption. The words hung heavy in the air. Lyra felt her throat tighten. Then why bring us here? What do you want from us? The light dimmed slightly. To understand how you still feel in a universe that forgot how. To remember creation through you. But not all of us agree. Ethan frowned. What do you mean? The sky darkened. From the horizon, a shadow began to spread. Black energy creeping across the golden plain like smoke swallowing sunlight. The luminous beings above started to move restlessly. Lyra grabbed Ethan's arm. What's happening? The others, the being said grimly. Those who believe emotion is a weakness. They want to erase this awakening. And you, Ethan's pulse quickened. They know we're here? They can feel your presence. Your emotions are like fire in this place. The air began to crackle. Dark figures emerged from the shadows, distorted shapes of the same beings, but twisted, cold and sharp. Their eyes glowed red instead of gold. One of them spoke, its voice deep and metallic. The experiment must end. Emotion must die again. Lyra's breath caught. Experiment? Ethan clenched his fists. You call life an experiment? The dark being extended its arm, and energy surged toward them. Ethan pushed Lyra aside, the blast missing by inches and scorching the golden ground. The first being, the one who had helped them, stepped forward, its light blazing brighter. They are not your enemies. They are the proof that we can still feel. Feelings destroyed our kind once, the dark figure snarled. They will not do so again. The golden sky cracked with thunder as both sides of light and shadow clashed. Beams of energy collided, echoing across the vast plain. Ethan shielded his eyes from the brilliance. We have to get out of here. Lyra pointed toward a floating bridge of light that seemed to form out of nowhere. There! They ran, hearts pounding, as lightning bolts of energy struck the ground around them. The noise was deafening, the sound of ancient gods at war. Just as they reached the bridge, a dark beam hit near them, sending them flying. Ethan rolled across the surface, pain shooting through his side. Lyra landed beside him, gasping for breath. Behind them, the being of light, their guide, shouted one last message before being engulfed by shadow. Find the core! Only it can stop them. The core remembers love. The golden plain shattered beneath their feet, and everything was swallowed by blinding white light. When Ethan opened his eyes again, he was falling, through stars, through time, through echoes of ancient worlds, until he crashed into something solid. He gasped, realizing they were back inside the shuttle. Systems flickered online, and the readings showed something strange. They were no longer on Titan. Lyra looked out the cracked window, her voice trembling. Ethan, that's not Saturn. Outside, a giant blue planet loomed, glowing with energy unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. Ethan whispered, Where? Did it send us? The shuttle computer beeped weakly. A single word appeared on the screen, a word that made Ethan's blood run cold. Ethan could barely breathe as he looked out the cracked shuttle window. The stars outside were different, sharper, colder, unfamiliar. And floating below them was a glowing blue planet wrapped in silver clouds and radiant energy waves. Lyra leaned closer, her voice trembling. That's not anywhere near Saturn. The constellations are wrong. We're somewhere else. The shuttle's damaged system flickered to life, scanning their surroundings. Location, unknown. Dimensional coordinates, unreadable. Ethan frowned. We didn't just move through space. We moved through something else. Lyra stared at the readings. Time or reality? Neither of them knew the answer. The voice from before, the one that had saved them, was gone. All that remained was silence and the faint hum of the shuttle's broken engines. They orbited the mysterious planet in awe. It pulsed with golden light beneath the clouds, as if the whole world was alive, breathing. Lyra whispered, "It looks like it's calling to us." Ethan nodded slowly. Maybe this is the core they were talking about. The moment he said it, the shuttle system lit up, as if responding to his voice. A navigation path appeared on the display, glowing bright gold. Lyra looked at him. "It wants us to land," he sighed. "Every time I follow my gut, something insane happens." She smiled faintly. "Then let's keep following it." "It hasn't killed us yet," he smirked. "Not yet." The shuttle descended through glowing clouds that shimmered with every color of the spectrum. The air outside seemed almost liquid, bending light into beautiful arcs. When they broke through the atmosphere, Ethan's jaw dropped. Massive golden towers stretched across the surface, each one humming with ancient energy. Rivers of blue light flowed between them like veins. Floating islands hovered in the air, connected by shining bridges of pure energy. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered. "It's like the whole planet was built from light." They landed near one of the towers, where the ground looked like smooth crystal. The moment their boots touched it, the surface rippled, alive, reacting to their presence. Ethan scanned the area. Oxygen level normal. Temperature stable. "It's like this place is made for us," Lyra frowned. "Or it's adapting to us." A path of glowing lines appeared ahead, leading into the massive tower. They followed cautiously. The interior was vast and silent, filled with enormous pillars that pulsed with rhythmic energy. A heartbeat that echoed through the walls. Suddenly, a faint voice whispered through the air. "Welcome, Ethan Rain. Welcome, Lyra Venn. You carry what we lost." Lyra froze. "Did you hear that?" Ethan nodded, scanning around. "Who's there?" "I am the core," the voice replied gently. "I am memory. I am what remains of the architect's heart." The floor beneath them glowed brighter. Holographic images appeared, scenes of ancient times, shining beings creating galaxies, weaving stars, and forming life from dust. Lyra watched in awe. This is the history of the universe," the core continued speaking. "The architects gave birth to creation, but when they abandoned emotion, creation began to die. They forgot why life was beautiful." Ethan's chest tightened. "And now they're fighting each other. Light against shadow." "Yes," the core said, "and the shadow grows stronger. Soon it will erase all memory, unless the spark of emotion is restored." Lyra stepped forward. "That's why you brought us here. You think humans can fix what they broke." "Not think," the core corrected. "No, you were made to remember what they could not. Love, grief, hope." Ethan frowned. "But how do we stop them?" The core pulsed brighter, almost like it was thinking. "Within me lies the first emotion, the pure essence that gave birth to all creation. It must be reignited by a living soul, one who feels truth without fear." Lyra turned to Ethan, her eyes wide. "That's you," he blinked. "Me?" "Your confession reached across the stars," the core said softly. "Your truth woke the architects. Only you can wake the heart of the universe." Ethan took a step back, his voice shaking. "I'm just a soldier. I didn't mean to. Meaning does not matter. Honesty does." The core's voice grew deeper, echoing through the chamber. The walls shifted, opening to reveal a massive glowing sphere suspended in the air, pulsing like a living heart. Ethan could feel its rhythm matching his own heartbeat. Lyra whispered, "That's the first emotion." The core spoke again. "Place your hand upon it. Give it what you feel, fear, love, anything true." Ethan hesitated. "If I do this, what happens?" "Creation remembers." "Or ends." Lyra grabbed his hand. "You're not doing this alone." He looked into her eyes, golden light reflecting in them, and took a deep breath. Together, they stepped forward. When his hand touched the sphere, a surge of light exploded through the chamber. Memories flooded his mind. Laughter, pain, hope, the faces of everyone he had ever known. Lyra's voice echoed beside him, and through the light he heard the core whisper one last time. Now humanity's heart must decide. To feel or to forget. The world shattered into pure light. The core's light burned brighter than ever before. The entire chamber trembled as if the world itself was trying to breathe again. Ethan shielded his eyes, shouting into the storm of energy. "Lyra! Can you hear me?" The core pulsed, once, twice, and then a soft, familiar voice echoed from within the light. "Ethan, I'm here." His heart skipped a beat. "Lyra, what's happening to you?" Inside the swirling energy, a faint image appeared, her silhouette glowing like gold dust suspended in air. Her eyes, now radiant with the same light as the core, looked down at him. "I'm connected to everything," she said softly. "I can see the entire network. The core is alive, it's thinking, feeling, and it's afraid." Ethan frowned. "Afraid of what?" Lyra's voice grew faint. "Of him." Suddenly, a dark figure appeared on the holographic display. General Kale, now more energy than man, his features shifting like shadow and fire. "You should have stayed away, Lyra," Kale said coldly. "Now you're part of my world." Lyra's energy flared. "You turned the core into a weapon. It was made to create life, not destroy it." Kyle laughed, a sound that made the air vibrate. "Life is chaos. Emotion is weakness. I've seen what love does to humans. It blinds them." Ethan shouted at the projection. "You're wrong. It defines us." Kale's image darkened. "Then watch what your love creates." The walls cracked as streams of black energy burst from the core, spreading through the facility like veins of darkness. Machines shattered, alarms screamed, and the sky outside began to fracture, a web of lightning stretching across the planet. Ethan stumbled, gripping the edge of the console. "Lyra, what's happening?" Her voice trembled. "He's trying to corrupt the network, to turn every architect system into his army. If he succeeds, the entire galaxy will fall under his control." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we stop him." Lyra hesitated. "There's only one way. I have to fight him from inside." He shook his head, eyes wide. "That's suicide, Lyra." She smiled faintly, her glowing image flickering. "You once told me what you really thought about me, and it changed everything. Now it's my turn to show you what I think of you." He took a step toward the core. "Lyra, don't do this." "You're not alone." Her voice softened. "I know. That's why I can win." The core pulsed again, and the room filled with a deep, resonant hum, like the sound of 1,000 hearts beating in unison. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing. "Kyle," she whispered, "you forgot what being human feels like. Let me remind you." The chamber exploded in light as golden and black energy collided. Ethan was thrown back, crashing into the wall, but he didn't stop watching. Inside the core, two forces clashed, Kale's darkness twisting and burning, Lyra's golden light pushing back. It was more than a battle of power. It was a battle of will. Every time Kale struck, Lyra responded not with rage, but with emotion, memories, laughter, pain, hope. She used feeling as her weapon. Outside, the entire planet trembled. The artificial sky shattered, revealing real stars. The first anyone had seen in centuries. Ethan crawled forward, reaching out toward the core. "Lyra! You can do this! You're stronger than him." Her voice came again, now mixed with static. "Ethan, if I can't make it back, promise me something." He shook his head, tears forming. "Don't say that." "Promise me you'll remember what made you human. Promise me you'll keep feeling, even when it hurts." The core's light flickered violently, then burst into a massive wave of golden fire. Ethan covered his face as the ground split beneath him. Through the roar, he heard her final words, soft but powerful. "Emotion is not weakness. It's creation." The explosion tore through the facility. Everything went white, and when the light faded, the core stood still, silent, dim. Ethan stumbled to his feet. "Lyra," he whispered, no answer. Just the low hum of a dying world. He fell to his knees, his hands trembling. For the first time, he felt truly alone. But then, the core flickered. A faint pulse, a heartbeat, and a voice barely audible whispered through the silence. "Ethan." "I'm still here." His eyes widened. He looked up. The core glowed softly, golden and alive. She wasn't gone. She had become the core. Ethan's lips trembled into a small, broken smile. He whispered, "You changed everything, Lyra."